guys, what's going on? Just a bit of an update video to show what's been going on lately. I've completed the first and arguably the easiest step of the entire build, which is putting the kit together. So the Leo is going to look like this out of box. It's immediately, you'll notice, one color, and it is kind of a, I don't want to say boring, but sort of a drab, dark forest green. The only different colors are, of course, the joints, which are the polycaps. This hand is actually not part of the kit. It uses these really old, really undetailed hands that were used in the 90s kits for both G Gundam and Wing and Gundam X, if I remember correctly. So I guess we could do a quick review of it, since it would take like maybe 5 minutes, not even. For articulation, arms will go around, of course. 90-degree bend at the elbow. It's one single polycap joint. The wrists can rotate. I mean, I'm not using the same hands that it gives you. The legs are okay. They're really not that bad. The skirts don't move. So forward about this far, back about that far. The knees surprised me. When I saw them on the package, I thought they were going to be one solid color, or one solid joint rather, one solid piece. But they give you polycaps for that, and that's accomplished by these old knee joints that you get in the G and Wing kits. And it'll bend pretty far, actually, and the shape allows it to give it more than 90 degrees. The ankles are pretty good forward and back. They're actually not bad at all. The armor doesn't move, of course, but the side to side is abysmal. It literally does not move at all. Let's see, head doesn't move. It's kind of a given. The waist doesn't move, and that's because the body is actually just two halves put together. Let's see, the weapon is just the machine gun. It's the one with the barrel drum magazine, and it's one solid piece, which is okay. You know, I was okay with the fact that I didn't have to put this together, and it's fairly well rounded. It's not as flat as what you'd expect in your typical no grades, although it's, you know, it doesn't have a barrel to speak of, so I have to work on that. The couple of things that I'm going to be doing to this kit are adding extra joints. These are little joints that I got from, I think, either Hobby Wave or Hobby Base. But they're, you know, they're plastic and they're pretty flexible. They're kind of stiff though. One side is arguably less flexible than the other. This will have to be the back of the knee joint, giving it pretty good range of motion. And these will be going in the back of the knee here. So these will be going back here to give it more motion, and will honestly give it a bigger knee joint, and will fill in more of the space back there. The elbows, I took off one of the arms because I wanted to show you guys this. The pieces right out of the box are going to be pretty, they're not even hollow, they're just basically two halves put together with some space for the joints. The good thing about that though is that since there's interior density, it means it'll give me something to drill into. So when I put these together, I'll be putting the joints in like this, and they'll be able to go into a mass instead of just, you know, a hollow void. So I can just glue this together and then it'll stay in place. For the machine gun, I'm probably just gonna paint it, you know, detail a little bit. The back here is actually apparently a folding stock. Like, these two halves are supposed to open up and give it, like, you know, the butt of a gun. So the next thing will be obviously to give it a barrel, and I've got a small drill bit right here that I'll be using for that. Drilling is going to play a large part in this model kit. I've got to fill in these seam lines. There's a lot of them. The entire kit is composed mostly of seam lines, except for the feet. They're actually one solid joint, which is a bit of a surprise. But seam lines all on the body, on top of the shoulders here, on the upper arms, just everywhere seam lines. So that's going to have to be filled in. I'm not sure how I'm going to put this together quite yet. I'll probably have to sand down any of the pegs that allow it to stick together, and then glue them so that I can eradicate seam lines. And then I might add the joints later. I'm not sure, this is still in the planning stage, but I got this guy together so you can at least see what it looks like out of box. It's really bland, really plain, but the detail is surprisingly okay. There's a bit of flash, but for an older kit, especially one that's limited, I was kind of expecting that. So it'll take a bit of detail work and a bit of love, but it should turn out okay. So in the next couple days, I should be able to get the joints in here and get some painting done. We'll see. So just check back here in a couple days or so, and we'll see where we are.